Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Zone. I'm going to go live and have a live picture of myself moving forward on these. Welcome in, everybody. For those that don't know, I'm Sean. I'm the CD guy, short for Community Development, which is just a way to look at a community, find out the assets that it does have in its favor, identifying the things that it needs, and helping everybody in the community come together to fix it, to do solutions. So that's what the community development is in a nutshell. All right, so this is my third episode of Zone, which stands for Zoomed Out News. Now, I am locally in the Albuquerque area in New Mexico. So my first focus with this is to bring you something from Albuquerque, and we'll expand it out. We'll zoom out to New Mexico, to the United States, and then I pick a country around the world, and I do a news article from them as well. So this is just a way to go ahead and bring you some things that may not have ever crossed your path before. I'm very much a fan of finding out what's going on in the world because you never know what's could be affecting you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first things up in Albuquerque, once again, we have an arena football team that has come to New Mexico, and it's going to be based here. We're called the New Mexico Chupacabras. They actually just played their first game on Saturday. I do believe they got the W for everybody. And for those of you who have been following me for the last couple of years, know that I am a huge fan of sports, not only for sports themselves, but what they bring to a community. The fact that it's an activity, the fact that it brings people together, employment for the local community to have the jobs to run the events and be a part of the organization. So there's a lot of good things that come with having a sports team, and that's why most places around the country, no matter how big or small, they have some kind of a professional sports team out there for this very reason, community pride, as well as the other things that I mentioned there. So I'm excited. The colors are going to be red and yellow, which are also happen to be the colors of the state flag if you've never seen the New Mexican flag before. The tickets look like they're going to be super affordable, under $10 for people to go ahead and enter. It's going to be played just outside of the downtown area in one of our convention areas that already has other things that go on there all the time. So this is going to be a familiar place for people to go to see the game. It's based here, but it is technically speaking the New Mexico. So hopefully we'll get the visitors from other parts of the state as well as out of state too to come and check out our games. And I will be having to go to one of those soon myself. It's a good year for us. We got a new arena football team, and we got a new hockey team too. So they'll be starting up next year. All right. So we'll zoom out now. I'm going to talk about New Mexico as a whole, although this does impact me here in the area. And that's the extreme heat. And it's not even just really for New Mexico, but we'll focus on New Mexico. We've been hitting record highs. I've been out here for quite a few years now at this point, and every year it just feels a little different. Like when I first got out here, as an example, I was able to go ahead and plant crops and grow, and I got a lot of stuff that grew my first year out here. And then ever since, like, I'm getting less and less and less, and it's just everything's getting fried. And that's just me. Oh, by the way, that's Melody here. She likes to be on camera, apparently. Coming back to that, and along with the heat, we have water shortage. We also have like a windy season right now too, and that's kicking up all the dust, and a lot more is being picked up than normal because of these high temps and less moisture in the ground, so it doesn't stay. It's lightweight, so it just kicked up in the atmosphere. So, like last week, I tried looking at the mountain that's not even a few miles away from where I am, and it was hazy, and it wasn't fog; it was sand. So this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a tough year. There's lots of things that you can look up to go ahead and do for yourself to go ahead and minimize your water usage, to make sure that it's spread out, because this is going to hit our farmers, first, and the people who need a lot more water to, operate whatever they need to be doing there for everybody in the state. And again, I know this is happening around the country right now, so keep an eye out. Look to your resources online to see what you can do to minimize your water use. Even something as fast as hopping in and out of the shower, turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. Simple things like that really do add up. All right, so zooming out again, I realized I don't know really much about the great state of Wyoming. I've never been there before. Haven't had a reason to go, but I was curious, so I went and pulled up something that they got going on. Now, this is coming out of the Cheyenne News, but it looks like the Game and Fish Commission there has approved expanding the estuaries, the places that go ahead and make like the fish. They're hatchery. Sorry, that's the official term for it. They're expanding, which is a good thing. In the past, based on the article, there have been more and more types of species that have been brought into the states, and this is actually this makes them more vulnerable to invasive species, which can then destroy the native fish and the plants and everything else in the waterways in the state. And fishing's a great thing to do. Relax. You can grab, get your food that way. It's a good bonding experience for family and friends. So you want to have a good, strong, healthy fish population. Now, some of the ones that they're going to be expanding with, I have a list here. So let's go ahead here. All right. So they're going to be working on bringing in, raising walleye, crappie, bluegill, largemouth bass. I love bass fishing personally, and tiger muskie. So these are some of the ones that they're going to be trying to grow. They're not necessarily native, but in the hatchery, they can kind of control the environment and make sure that they don't get out into the wild here, but they'll still give people the opportunity to enjoy those types of fish. So that's going on in Wyoming. So as far as like the U.S. news, I chose them this particular time around. And then lastly, zooming out here a little bit further, we are going to go talk about the world. And the place that I had that caught my eye this time around was Peru. Now I know that all I know about Peru is that speak Spanish. The Incas were there. The natives out there, they have their own version of an Appalachian Trail out there. That's where the Nazca lines are too, where if you're up in a plane, you can see these giant land designs in the ground. So those are the few things that I do know about Peru. But recently, like some other places around the world, and I believe even in Hawaii, they're getting bombarded with flooding. This is destroying communities. People are losing their lives. So this is, a big thing, and it all kind of ties into, climate change. Like we're all seeing different things, higher temps earlier in the year, massive flooding in places that don't normally do that. So there's kind of a twofer that I got going on for this particular one. So the floods, now in the past, they've had some before as well, just a few years ago. And they found that there was an increase in it's called the dengue fever. So some of those symptoms are fever, headaches, pain, muscle joint pains, loss of taste and appetite, nausea, and vomiting. And these are coming from mosquitoes who, because of the flooding, there's more standing water, and that they can go ahead and lay their eggs and quickly, pop out a population of mosquitoes. And this is making people sick. And this, is coming from the climate change. And it's something that we need to worry about and work on, because this is impactful. The same thing could be happening not necessarily with these type of mosquitoes or this particular outbreak, but, Hawaii is getting hit right now too with the flooding. This is going to create the issues there too. So there's a lot that comes from, these unusual temperatures, unusual weather patterns that have been happening. So we definitely need to kind of keep an eye on that and, help out where we can. I'm sure there's some things online where you can go ahead and donate if you want to Hawaii here in the U.S. and even in Peru. But yeah, so just something to think about. Not only are they suffering from the rains and the flooding and the devastation that is causing, but turn around and now they have an increase in diseases and sickness because of that as well. So just something to think about here. Again, it's not the first thing that I would have thought about when flooding. I always think about, the destruction part of it all, but what is the wildlife going to do as a result of it? And this is one of those things that's happening. So it's important to kind of think about all that. All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to get out of here and let you all get back to your evenings. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope, again, you're finding these interesting and, maybe putting something in your head that you didn't think about or know about beforehand, and maybe you'll go check it out for yourself as well. The more we all know, the better. So, all right. Well, thank you once again. Y'all have a great night.